And the only way we can change that is by making the difference ourselves and becoming entrepreneurs ourselves. We can break generational curses. We can make sure that our children and the next generations will be financially literate so that we don't replicate the past. And that we also see people just like us being successful in their lives, in their businesses, in their career, in everything that they actually want, because everybody deserves that. Hi bestie, and welcome to a new Tea Talk with Adama, where we discuss mindset, business and everything in between. I upload a new podcast every Wednesday and a new Tea Talk every Thursday. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and let's spill the tea. Since February is celebrated as Black History Month in the US and some other countries, I wanted to share my personal experience being a Black woman in this modern day and age and how it might be different from somebody else's experience. So let's chat. First of all, what is Black History Month? And this is something I heard for the first time last year actually, just scrolling to my social media and having a lot of people from my audience who are actually from the US. That's how I learned for the first time about this term. And it is a celebration of the Afro-American history, its leaders, and also the heritage of the African diaspora and how it is impacting the country. And so first celebrated in the US, it has been observed recently also in Ireland, Canada, and the UK, and it is from the 1st of February until the 1st of March. So during the month you have different events and festivities around the African American heritage and history. So I cannot say that I can begin to understand how it is like to be an Afro-American in the US nowadays, but I can definitely relate to some of their experiences being a Black woman myself. So I want to take this opportunity to talk about how it is like to be a Black woman, first generation of parents, immigrants from Africa, and just share my experience with you. So I guess there are 4 things I want to address today. First of all, I want to talk about how to take your place as a Black woman in this world in 2022. Then I will share with you my experience living abroad as a Black woman, how it has changed my life. And lastly, I want to address how it is like to be a Black entrepreneur and content creator and the lack of representation in business. So let's dive into it. First of all, to give you a background about me if you are new to my channel, so I was born and raised in France. My parents are originally from Guinea, Western Africa, which is a country with 12 million inhabitants and a lot of different ethnic groups. My ethnicity is Fula or Fulani. So I was raised in a predominantly white country, and my parents raised us to respect both the European culture and the African culture that we were brought up with. And also we were living in a house in a predominantly white neighborhood, and so I grew up not knowing a lot of Black people except from my family. And the more I grew up, the more I would study, the less Black people I would encounter. And so this really also shaped my view of the world, which is that I would basically always be part of a minority and that I would have to accept that. And so like any kid, the first thing we want is to be accepted, is to be part of a group. So when you realize that you will never be fully part of the group just because of the way you look, this is something that might be a struggle when it comes to understanding your identity and who you are and what is your worth as well. So as a child of African immigrants, I knew that this will be a challenge for me growing up. Especially because, for instance, my parents knew where they came from, right? But I was born in a different country, and so in this country, I would never be fully seen as French. And when I go to Guinea, I would never be fully seen as Guinean because, first of all, I don't speak the language correctly and I wasn't born there, so I would never fully understand their reality. And talking with some Afro-Americans, I see that a lot of them feel like that towards the US as well. Like they were born in this country and their ancestors are from Africa. They don't know anything about Africa, but they feel like they would never be seen as fully American citizens because of their skin color. And of course, this is something that can be very hurtful and it can cause a lot of damage and pain into somebody's life. But I believe that even if you are part of a minority, you can still take your place. So as you can imagine, especially for my school and after that, I was most of the time one of the only black kids in the class. We were never more than 5 people, and as I went to college, it was even less. And so I learned that no matter what I do, I would always stand out in the crowd because I'm different, because of the way I look. The funny thing is that when I'm in a group with a majority of black people, I will still stand out because I would not talk exactly the same or behave the same, or I just didn't have the same background. And same thing when I would be in a group with a majority of white people or other ethnicity. But the thing is, I've decided a long time ago that I would not let my gender or my skin color or even my external circumstances dictate where I can have a seat. So if I've decided that I wanted to go to such or such school, I would work my way to it and I would get it. If I decided that I wanted this job at this particular company, I would apply and do everything and get the job. Even if I had to be the only black person there, I was already prepared for that and I didn't let that stop me. So what I'm trying to say is that when you are part of a minority, you should not wait for somebody to give you a seat at the table. You have to take it by yourself. And I can say that as a black woman, I'm very grateful to be born in this era in the world that we are living in, because we have so many opportunities to decide who and where we want to be. And I'm also very proud to see other black women living their life unapologetically and getting the jobs that they want, getting the lives that they want, because they deserve it like everybody else. So that's the first thing I would say to any young black woman who is watching this. Take your place. Don't be afraid to stand out from this crowd, because you're gonna stand out anyway. People are going to watch you anyway. So give them a good reason to watch and always hold your head high. Now, as I said, this world gives us a lot of opportunities. One of them is being able to travel and to move to different countries. So talking about my own experience, I'm an expat, and I recently posted about my experience being an expat in Portugal on my Instagram. If you want to see it, I will link it in the description of this video. And I shared that I actually didn't experience more racism living abroad. There are racist people everywhere, there are ignorant people everywhere, and so you have to be aware of that, of course. But I can honestly say that I've felt welcome in every country that I've been so far. I've been to 20 plus countries and I've lived in 3 different countries, so France, Germany and Portugal. And what I love about being an expat is that I get to define my own identity. So whenever you meet somebody, they will always ask you, where are you from? And my answer will always be, well, I'm from France, because this is where I was born. I've lived there for 25 years. So I'm French. And what I like is that I don't have to justify myself. I don't have to justify why I'm French and black. People are usually open when you go abroad, especially if they are used to travel themselves. So they are not shocked when they see you, a black person, talking another language, you know? They know that not all people come from Africa, that you also have Caribbeans and Afro-Americans, and that black people come in all shades and forms, just like any other ethnicity. So if you are a black woman and you are afraid of traveling, or you want to take the leap and become an expat, but you don't know how you will be received and welcomed there, I want to encourage you to follow your intuition and do not hesitate to take this solo trip, because you will learn so much about yourself. You will meet so many incredible people, and trust me, you won't regret it. I've been an expat for the last 5 years now, and I'm still enjoying the life. I know that I don't feel ready to go back to France yet. I don't know where my next destination will be after Portugal, but what I can say is that I'm very grateful for this opportunity to call another country home and to settle down somewhere and create a new network, find new friends, and build my own life the way that I want it. And so if you are feeling small in your hometown, or you feel like you can't be truly yourself and reach your full potential there, then it might be the sign that you are waiting for to actually move and take the leap. And yes, you will meet other black people abroad. Something that really motivates me is just following some social media pages about black people traveling the world, because that shows you that you are not the only one, and chances are you will meet at least one other black person where you are going, which is very fun as well, because you're like, okay, I see you, and you have this kind of nonverbal appreciation. I don't know how to explain it, I just love it. There are two YouTube channels that I follow which really inspired me when I decided to become an expat. The first one is Driven Spice from Cinnamon, who is an Afro-American woman. She lives in Portugal as well, and she shares her experience being an expat and an entrepreneur. And you have Stephanie Perry, who is also Afro-American, and she shares her tips to become an expat, from the visa process to cultural differences and adaptation. So I would highly recommend you to binge watch her videos if you are a Black woman who is trying to take the leap and become an expat. Now, the next topic I want to address is how it is like to be a Black entrepreneur or content creator. And I know that you may have heard that social media tend to favor creators who actually match the Eurocentric beauty standards, and that as a Black creator or entrepreneur, it's harder for you to get some visibility and recognition. And it is somewhat true, but I don't want that to stop you from sharing your gift and talents with the world. Yes, you may have more obstacles along the way, but you can do so much more than what you think. And one thing that really keeps me motivated is simply following successful Black entrepreneurs, because they look like me and they did their thing despite their circumstances and all the noise. One thing that kept me going through life and that truly helped me achieve whatever goals I set for myself is that I never let anything or anyone tell me how far I could go in life. Also, I would never take as my reality all the statistics that I would see about how successful you could be as a child of an immigrant or as a Black woman, because I've decided that I'm the one in charge of my own life and my destiny. And this is a very powerful mindset that will also carry you through hard times, so that's why I want you to have it as well. And the next topic is the lack of representation of Black-owned businesses. And the only way we can change that is by making the difference ourselves and becoming entrepreneurs ourselves. We can break generational curses. We can make sure that our children and the next generations will be financially literate, so that we don't replicate the past. And that we also see people just like us being successful in their lives, in their businesses, in their career, in everything that they actually want, because everybody deserves that. It's about taking some responsibility and, as I said earlier, being in charge of our own lives. And if we want something to change, then we have to change within ourselves first. To conclude, there are 2 points that I want you to actually remember, which is 1, keep confusing everybody. So I know that it's hard for people to put you in a box when you are Black and you speak different languages, and you are also multi-passionate, you are into entrepreneurship and creativity and all these things, and people would be kind of amazed by you and everything that you are able to pull off. You will find people who are genuinely curious, which is great, because you might help break some walls about the stereotypes that they may have regarding Black people. And then you will also have people who feel kind of upset because you don't fit the box that they wanted to put you in. And that's completely okay, because that's none of your business. Your mission is to reach your full potential and follow your purpose. If that makes somebody else uncomfortable, then it's on them, not on you. So keep confusing them, bestie. Keep being amazing, improving yourself, learning new skills, so that you can have a fulfilling life and build your own legacy. And the second thing is, if you don't want to subscribe to the strong Black woman myth anymore, you can do that. If you got the job and the career and did everything all by yourself, chances are it's not because you wanted to, it's because you had to. And it is completely fine. You did what you had to survive in this world. But if you feel like you don't want to carry this weight by yourself anymore, then let 2022 be the year that you accept help in your personal life and in your business. You allow yourself to be vulnerable, because it's okay not to have your ish together all the time. It doesn't make you less worthy. If anything, it makes you more human, which is what you are after all. We are not meant to be self-made superheroes. And that's something I'm learning as well. So for once, being the one who receives instead of the one who gives all the time. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know, what is your experience as well as a Black woman living abroad or being an entrepreneur. I'm curious to learn about your story. Share this video with a friend who can relate to this. I wish you a happy Black History Month. I will see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye bye.